The best way to successfully get through something that requires a large amount of effort over an extended period of time without giving up on the activity is to create an internal reward system for the activity. On the other hand, doing things merely for the end goal or the external reward of the activity is more likely to lead you to fail. Developing a strong internal reward system can help you persist and fight through activities that require heavy cognitive or physical load over an extended period of time where you constantly get that urge to fail. Creating this internal reward system can keep you going. So what happens when we're doing a high burden task for a long period of time? Basically, our body releases the stress hormone noradrenaline. So noradrenaline leads to physical agitation of the body, which gets your body to want to start moving. The problem with this is that physical agitation, that discomfort, is exhausting, and eventually that's what leads you to give up. So for example, when you're studying, you'll find that after a while you just feel physically restless and you need to just get up off your table. And you'll often tell yourself, oh, I need to take a break, I'll go get a coffee or maybe go for a cigarette. Whereas actually you're just so physically agitated that you feel the need to get up and move, and that food or that cigarette is merely a distraction to get you away from that physical agitation. So something that has been found to push back on these feelings and allow you to fight through this discomfort is dopamine. Now, as I discussed in my last video, dopamine is your body's internal reward system. So basically, if you're able to create an effective internal reward system, you're basically tapping into your dopamine system during these activities to fight back against the discomforts caused by noradrenaline. So a great way to apply this principle during high duration activities is to break up that activity into smaller achievable chunks. And upon achieving those chunks, you internally reward yourself for getting there. Some of you may have noticed that you already do this in some circumstances. I reckon a lot of us have jumped on the treadmill thinking we're going to run for 30 minutes. We're on there for a bit, we're like, oh my god, this is painful. But okay, it's just 10 minutes 3 times, or 5 minutes 6 times, or 3 minutes 10 times. And you just keep breaking it down into these chunks because you feel like it's just mentally seeming like less of a burden when you do this. And you're absolutely right. So me personally, when I'm running outside and I find myself getting tired, I'll set these sort of mini goals. I'll be like, oh, I'll run till that lamppost. And often I find when I get to that lamppost and I feel that satisfaction of achieving that, I'm usually re-energized and I find the energy to actually go past that. So every time I reach that achievable milestone that I've set, I tell myself, well done. And this internal reward sort of releases dopamine in my body, which re-energizes my body and fights back against my physical discomfort and my desire to quit. Now, this principle can be applied in any scenario. So if you're studying, break down your workload into subjects, then into chapters, then into topics, then even into paragraphs if that helps you break down the workload sufficiently. Now, the important thing here is to have a little inner celebration every time you achieve these goals, where you tell yourself, I'm in the right path, I'm getting there, I do this a few more times and I'm reaching where I eventually have to reach, I'm moving in the right direction. When you do this enough times, you start to automate your internal reward system. Now, your body becomes accustomed to releasing this dopamine when you reach these levels, and your capability to persist will build up with time. Now, in my last video, I may have made it seem as though dopamine was the enemy when I was talking about it in the context of high-calorie, highly processed foods. But that is not the case at all. My point there was to avoid things that unnaturally stimulate your dopamine system. And I realize that unnatural is quite a loose term, but what I'm trying to say is that anything that would cause surges in your dopamine to the degree that it would throw off your dopamine system, those are the things you want to avoid. Dopamine is a crucial player of our body's motivational network, and in being so, it is a crucial element of personal well-being as well. If you use dopamine right, it can be your superpower. It can make you highly resistant and it can help you build positive habits in the long term. But if you use it wrong, it can create and reinforce negative habits. So in summary, any task that requires a lot of effort, whether it's mental or physical, will eventually lead to the buildup of noradrenaline. Now, noradrenaline will provide you energy through the flight or fight response, but that's a limited source of energy. When that starts to fade, you start to feel the agitation that it causes and it makes you want to give up. Dopamine fights against this negative feeling. It helps you push through this. Break your journey down into steps, whether it's that next lamppost, whether it's that next chapter, whether it's that next day's workout. Pat yourself on the back for reaching that next step. Even if it's 1% better, even if it's 0.01% better, as long as you're moving in the right direction, reward yourself, and it will make the journey a whole lot easier, more efficient, and way more enjoyable. That's all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you guys next time. Cheers.